Welcome to the Marketing for the Culture podcast, powered by the African American Marketing Association. Each week, we'll bring you an insightful conversation from some of the best experts in our industry on how to advance our career. Join the collective of Black marketers across the world, advancing their brand as we work towards creating a collaborative community. Hey, good people. Welcome to the Marketing for the Culture podcast. I'm your host, Michelle Gomez, and today's special guest is Bridgett Holden, founder, owner of Bridgett PR. Bridgett, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Thank you, Michelle. I'm doing well. Glad to be here.
Yes, looking lovely as always.
Thank you. I wanted to do something spring for you, darling. So that's why
the colors are blooming, popping, all that good stuff.
Wonderful.
So you are a publicist.
I am.
Tell us about yourself, how you got in the industry, your business, all that good stuff.
Okay, so how I got into I'm Bridgett Holden, principal owner of Bridgett PR, which used to be S. Charles Public Relations. I think you remember that. Yeah. And the name changed after, I became uncoupled.
Okay. We letting go. We recreating everything. Okay, I love it.
Oh my gosh, I had to crack myself. Only because it was his name in the company name. And it was time for rebranding. I'm not going to just say that. However, it happened after the uncoupling happened. So, and then the rebranding happened in 2018. And so everything now is off a play of my name because although I'm a publicist, I'm also a brand, which people don't realize. And so, of course, I can't do anything with the hair, be like, I saw you, So that's one of the things, is a brand for me. But Bridgett is a play off of my name. My middle name is Shelise, Shelisc. So I took she, and then my name is Bridgett, Bridge, PR, bridging the gap between you and media.
I love it. That's immediately what I thought of when I saw that. I said, this double entendre right here. I love it.
Thank you. And people don't understand that the name of your company and the name of or your logo, first the name of your company should have something to do with you personally. It should tell a story. And people don't realize that because people do business with who they know and trust. They don't really give a crap about what you do, what you're selling, your product or your service. I'm just being real. They want to know you. And so if they know you and it's like, okay. And when I tell people about the name of my company and how it's me, and I'm like, oh, yeah, a little light bulb goes off because if I can't brand myself, how can I brand you?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, so much of you is memorable as well.
Oh, thank you. I know it's so funny. Somebody was like, because, I've been on Isaiah a lot, doing commentating. And so people pass me by and they'll look. And I'm like, they're either going to say something about my hair or something else. And they'll come back by. Were you on TV the other day? Yes, I was. Oh my gosh, I thought that was you. And then but when they tell me that they actually listened to what I had to say, that is what really, gets me like, you did a good job. I'm like, really? Not that I need the validation. It's just that, because my hair is a statement. It is. Let's be clear. However, that people can look past that and actually hear what I'm saying is what really, lets me know that, oh, okay, I am smart.
No, I think that's real. I was watching Kerry Washington's new show on Hulu called Unprisoned.
Is it good?
It is. It was really good and cute. It was great. And forgot his real name, but the actor that plays her father was like, he encouraged her to wear a yellow dress and you're wearing a yellow blouse. But he was like, it's the happiest color.
It is.
And if people can see you, they're more likely to pay attention to what you're saying.
Exactly right. Which goes back to my point that people do business with people that they know and trust. Just like back in the day when I used to go to the hair salon and the other hairstylists in there were jacked up hair and don't make up. It's kind of like, I don't know what you do. You understand what I mean? You are your own brand. And people need to realize that more and more. People say, I don't understand PR. I don't understand. No, you understand it because you are PR. You're your own PR rep. But people don't get that, and that's what it is. So, but to answer your question, go ahead. What were you about to say?
I was going to say, girl, some people just like to argue to be arguing. They know they're a walking billboard.
That's true. That's true. Then you're right, because then if you say something to them, then that's something else. For them to argue for their limitations. That's what people like to do, is argue for their limitations, because they know it, but they don't want you to tell them. But how I got started was, which is a story that my son hates me to tell, but he was 4 years old, and he's in private school at the time. I was planning a wedding, building a house, and I just started in radio all at the same time, and was contemplating on going back to school. I don't know why, because it was a lot, And so in between that, I'm working because it was a new station. So I was there at 7 a.m. before everybody got there. And first to come, last to leave, basically. So you know how it is when children are on a routine, and then I'm only seeing my kid either late at night, early in the morning, or not at all. Because now I'm not picking him up. I'm not dropping him off. At the time, who was my fiance, who's my ex now, was, because now we're in like a year and a half already planning the wedding. And so, we're cohabitating and all that good stuff. So it's not like he's a stranger. However, Cameron was like, you cool or whatever, but where my mom at? So this dude started having tantrums, like full blown out tantrums, to where I would have to leave work to calm him down. Children are very smart. And only because he didn't know what was going on and he couldn't really verbalize it in his little 4-year-old mind, this is the best way I know how. This lady that I know, been known since I've been on this earth, is not here. Now she's not. Where is she? Because I'm not seeing her. And with any child, with losing a parent. So that's basically how I got started. And so one day I went in, I was late because, closing, you buy a house is forever. And we're closing on the house. I get this, I go into work the next day. I call to let them know, hey, I thought I was going to be able to come in. Something went wrong with the house. Go in the next day. They call me into his office, which is the general manager and the business manager. And they're like, pulls it out. Well, what happened? Just close your house. I'm like, oh, yeah, congratulations. But you're going to have to write check. And I was like, why? Well, you didn't call in. I was like, no. I called and I had the receipts because, back then we just had a little timestamp for when you call the number. Said, here it is. I called. And then he's looking at the business. I thought she said she didn't call. Well, she called, but she was clearly lying because she had it in for me. Long story short, I wouldn't sign it. And so I said, excuse me for a second. I went back in my office, typed up my resignation, brought it back. And he's like, wait. Let's let cooler heads prevail. We didn't want you to quit. So he asked her to leave. So he goes, okay, what's going on? We didn't want to get. I said, let me tell you something. I said, I'm glad this happened because this is what I realized. If I die tomorrow, you're going to replace me with somebody else. However, my child will no longer have his mother. And it's just like everything, just like an epiphany happened because I could be replaced. He's like, well, we wouldn't hire anybody tomorrow. I was like, please spare me the details. You understand where I'm coming from, and and that was another thing, and you're leaving and I said, listen, your kid is not any more important than my kid. He needs to be consoled. I'm the only one that can do it. So don't give me that. And I let him know your children and your child is no more important than mine. So since we have a problem where we can't come to an agreement or an understanding, we are at a crossroads, sir. So it's just better for me to leave. And he thought I was kidding. Do you know I ended up staying another 30 days after I gave them my 2 weeks because they thought I was playing. And they couldn't find anybody to replace me. See what I'm saying? And so I left, started my own business. A friend of mine was like, hey, I need some publicity for this. I wrote a press release, got 3 interviews. Really didn't know what I was doing. Kind of did, but didn't. And so she takes me to lunch. She writes me a check, slides it across the table. Because I was just doing it for her, just because I think it was like $100. And I took that check. I opened up my business account, got my DBA, got my logo done, just some little stuff. And started out like that was my rate, $100 an hour. And then I was like, that didn't cut it.
Now with no kid, now with the whole family and more.
Baby, let me tell you something. It's great being an entrepreneur. For us in service, I've found it challenging over the years to put a value on what my services are worth. And I'm sure you can understand that too,
Yeah. Yeah, I think, and I guess we can kind of jump into this a little bit more. I think one of the hardest things when it comes to working in public relations is the sustainability and the ROI, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because so many clients want immediate results, but there's so many things that go into it. Some of it is their brand, where they are with their brand. Some of it could be your relationships, right? And you don't want to risk those. If your brand is not up to par, I don't want to bring you to my best friend that's on the TV, the TV show.
And you looking at me with one eye open like, nah, you know better. You know what I mean?
I guess kind of, if you can help me with that, just kind of going into that, I guess, when does someone need a publicist? And I guess even trying to find the right client for you to even say yes, because I may need one, but you don't want to work with me because you may think your stuff is together in a day.
And that's so funny that you said that, because we do. We think our stuff is the bomb.com. And that's okay, because that's what you think. I can't take that away from you. However, you came to me for help because I'm the expert in this area. So that means you're not. And you've come to that realization. Yay for you. Now you are going to have to invest. I no longer say, well, my retainer is this. Your investment is.
Mm-hmm.
This is your investment, because you're investing in your brand. You're investing in your business for it to be put out there in front of the public. Now, a lot of times people negate of hiring a publicist when it's too late. And when it's too late is the day that your business opens. You're too late.
Keep going. Okay.
So when you're sitting there putting your, everything together to open your business, to start whatever, right? You need to have as a line item, because you line item everything else, PR, marketing, advertising, dollars, okay? Then you need to be realistic on your budget. What can I afford realistically, okay? Do your research also. Do your research. Can I say it again? Do your research, please. Research pricing for publicists. How much does it cost? What should I look for if I'm just starting? What if I don't have a big budget? What can I do if I can't afford to hire publicists on a monthly retainer? Then when you pick out your top 3, then inquire, okay? Set up a meeting, ask what their consultation fee is. It's my time. Do you have a consultation fee? If so, how much is it? Now, I give the first 15 minutes for free. I do. And a lot can be accomplished and talked about in 15 minutes. However, don't try to get information and prolong the 15, because I'm going to start you at this time. And at the 15, I stop and I say, okay, you're hitting your 15-minute mark. Would you like to move forward? If so, now for 30 minutes is $75. Oh, it's $150 an hour is my rate. Sorry. You don't want to do, some people, that's too much. Oh, okay. Oh, well, okay. Well, I can't just ask you. Nope. 15 minutes is up. So I'm being the professional one. So that's something that you should look for, is someone being professional, right? And I always say, because I'm going to check you out, check me out. Check out the publicist. Check out who you're working with, Check out if you see any of their clients on their feed. Now, I did kind of stop putting clients on my feed. I don't know why. I just stop putting my clients on my feed.
I mean, you have the business page versus personal page.
Yeah, I do. I have a personal page. I have a business page, but on my business page, I'll put up when I have interviews, make it an interview.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very rare that I do it. I don't know why I do that. And these are like some big interviews, you know what I mean? But what's funny is I think I know why. Let me stop playing. I know why. It's because when I put it on there, no, there's not many likes or whatever, or if any. And the whole thing of me putting my client on my page is to brand them as well. So I guess I was getting kind of annoyed. Wow, I just had a revelation. Anyway, you know something? But check out the publicists. Check them out. Because this is me. If I'm going to hire you and I go to your personal page and you turn it up and you twerking and you down it, I don't even know what the terminology is these days. Or whatever, you spoken and, I'm going to kind of be like, oh. Now, suffice it to say, that is your personal life. However, how much of your personal life kind of crosses over into your business life? That means you kind of hang around. Again, I'm really trying not to come off as being judgy. Now, this is just me. I wouldn't want someone like that to represent me. Sorry. Because I don't want us to be out somewhere and, shots fired. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, sorry.
Well, listen, everyone doesn't want to specialize in crisis communication. Okay,
Now, wait, I do crisis management. I do have that too. I do have crisis management. I do. However, I don't want to manage my own crisis. Because I'm somewhere with you. No, I'm sorry. Where did this go left? Michelle, bring it back in. Bring it back.
Oh, but I mean, going back to personal brand, at least have some tact, have some decorum with yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Because like I've had some interns that I was like, yeah. And that's all I'm
I think it's valid. I think sometimes when we think small business owner, we don't think of that. Or even if we have a job, we don't think of that. But media has shown teachers that were on vacation got fired because they had a red cup or they had a drink in their hand. I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's right. But we've seen it happen. We've seen, I forgot the guy's name, but he worked in the DA's office. But he got fired for some old tweets.
Yeah, but okay, so those tweets were very strong. But you're right, though. You're right. They were old, but see, then it's like, and he was saying alcohol, the alcoholics. But then, the saying, a drunk man speaks a sober mind. So is that really how you feel? Were you that drunk? You know what I mean? And then on top of that, your wife is non-Black. So the odds. I
think the thing is, a lot of people think they're invincible, and we're not. Now, I thought I was in my 20s. The Lord.
Of course, we all did. Come on, we're in your 20s. That's the time we were life. You're supposed to think that.
But there's still people walking around thinking that, and you older than me. But it's just different. Times are different, and I'm pretty sure. I like to think I'm innocent, but if someone brought something up from 15 years ago, I'm like, damn, I gotta take ownership of that now. Like,
I see your point. I do see your point. And just like what happened with Kevin Hart with the was it the Oscars?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I see your point because this cancel culture is real. It's real, and the thing is, it's more of them than there is us. It's them talking about the younger people, and it's just amazing how things have changed. You have to watch how you send text messages and emails and things of that nature. So, but for us who are still, I guess the values and the traditions are different. So if you are looking for someone who has a different type of, I guess, value, and looks at actually picking up the phone and calling instead of sending you a text message with a bunch of abbreviations, or, sending you a contract via email, or printing it out when I meet with you and we go over it and we sign it, your scope of work, something like that, then I'm the one you're looking for. However, if not, and I don't have a problem with that, because I think as you get vintage, fine wine, if you will, because I'm not old. Although you just threw some shade and said I was older than you, it's okay.
It's okay. An age.
No, it's okay. It's okay, because I don't look my age. But I mean, I just feel like there's a lot of difference, and I understand. I mean, I have a millennial, and I get it, and I understand them. They just do things differently. They're different. I mean, I'm Generation X. They looked at us the same way, when we were coming up. So it's no, and we started it. I say it's our fault because we started it. The Xers, we started it.
So speaking of differences, because I always say marketing is very broad.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, can marketing and PR even be separated? I think there was a time when it was.
Yes, there was, back in the 1900s. And I laugh at that because
I remember those. I've
been seeing those things on TikTok. My son just asked me the 1900s, did we have cars? And it's just hilarious. But yeah, in 1980 up to maybe I'll probably say maybe 2005 or 6, actually, we started seeing a shift in PR marketing. The only thing that's still separate is advertising. They still all go hand in hand. However, advertising, I think, because you actually should be a line item in your budget. And it's something that you're paying. Well, you pay for all three, don't get me wrong. But because advertising is set apart from the PR marketing. But now PR marketing are hand in hand. And now also people who look for publicists are looking to see if they have a marketing piece, and vice versa. If you're a marketing person, they're looking to see if you have a PR piece. And it's inevitable. In 2020, right before the pandemic, I actually spoke on the panel for the PRSA, Public Relations Society of America. And that was the topic, how has, PR changed from, just 5 years ago, which would have been 2015, to 2020. And in my research and in my own experiences, people kept saying, well, do you do marketing? Do you do any marketing? Well, I need marketing too. Can I just get all of that into one? And I was kind of offended, because I was like, listen, this is what I do. I'm good at what I do. Don't you have a marketing department? Well, we can't afford a marketing department, So it's like, okay, don't get upset. I just added an extra, price on one and price on the other. So I can, hire out a marketing person or a marketing firm. And I did ask around, and I was like, hey, how much is, a marketing piece? What if we partnered and I hire you out as to do the marketing for this? I'm not coming to you saying, oh, can you give me the hookup on this?
Mm-hmm.
And then some things I did learn on my own. However, if I have 6 clients that I'm dealing with, I don't want to do that. I don't have the time. Let me say that. But realistically, if you want to have a really good PR campaign, I don't have the time. Why not farm it out to someone that I know that I can give the business to, instead of trying to do it all on my own? And I'm not talking about Fiverr. Nothing wrong with Fiverr.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong. Nothing wrong with it. A lot of people utilize it. I've utilized it, a time or two as well. But however, if it's a campaign, then no, I want somebody I can see,
right,
and hear from. We can have meetings and say, look, this is what we're doing. This is where it's going. So PR and marketing, they're not separate. The one has to be with the other one. And actually, it makes sense, Michelle, when you think about it, because if I'm branding you and I'm getting you television interviews and writing press releases and, you got speaking engagements, then that marketing piece has to come in there to kind of help with that as that foundation, And I always explain to people, I think I told you about that meme that I posted when I told you about the difference between PR marketing and advertising.
Mm-hmm.
And so people need to understand that advertising, you pay for that. You telling people that you're this, you're that, which is fine. And then the marketing piece, so what did I say? When you say, I'm good in bed, I think that's what it was. You tell someone, I'm good in bed. And it's like, okay, so that's advertising. You're advertising saying that you're good in bed. And then the marketing piece is when someone says, I heard he's good in bed. I heard. And then the other piece is the PR, which is, he is good in bed. But it's somebody else telling you. You see what I mean? So there's the difference that they all go hand in hand. You need all three. Oh, and that was going back, I never did finish, going back to the other thing was that people need to budget for PR and marketing when they first start their business, the product that they have or the service. But for whatever reason, it's on the back burner. How is anybody supposed to find you? How is anybody supposed to know about you if you're not putting in those other three pieces?
So I got a few things. One, media is so important because that's just creating content for your marketing efforts, be it social media, your website, etc. So you don't want to ignore some public relations. But at the same time, can you give us maybe 2 tips on what people can do? They can do it themselves and work their way up into hiring someone like yourself?
Absolutely. I mean, so 2 tips I'll give you, which have worked because I've done it for other people. So apparently I must know what I'm talking about. So it's really, really easy to write a press release. But before you write it, check to see if what you're doing is newsworthy. Check out the news or look it up or whatever. I mean, you should know as well. I'm not going to say you should know because some people think all of their stuff is newsworthy and it should be on the news. But look to see if it's out there, if it's been put out there, that part, or if there's an interest or something, and call some other people and see if you think it's an interest. Or, like I've had some people call me, and it was the way they approached me that I didn't mind sharing the information, which they said, I would like to ask you a question, and they did ask, my rates and stuff like that. And they were like, not sure if it's in their budget. However, I can check. And they called back. So it's not in their budget right now. However, we'd like to keep in mind for the future. Whatever the case may be. It didn't come across as that picking my brain stuff. So you can look it up online. It's online. How to write a press release. Then look up how to contact that particular media outlet, whether it be via email, phone, whatever. Have it ready to email as soon as you talk to them, if you call them. Because they're all polite, but understand that they're rushed, but they're all polite. And if you say, can I get an email address? They'll give you the email address. Be ready right then and there. Have it in front of you. Do not, here's the second tip, do not send an attachment.
Oh, okay.
Stress that enough.
Okay.
Do not send your press release as an attachment. Do you know how many emails they get on a daily basis? Hundreds, thousands even, depending upon the station or the media outlet. Put it as the body of your email. Who, what, when, where, how. That's it. Don't go to grandma's house around the corner. Do not write a dissertation, okay? Who, what, when, where, why. That is it. If you have a flyer, attach the flyer. That's it. And then maybe wait 2 or 3 days and follow up. You got a third tip for free.
The generosity. Okay. So you've spoken a little bit about advertising. Mm-hmm. Would media buying fall under advertising?
Yes, absolutely.
I guess my question is, once again, going back to some of the traditional methods and now the digital methods, obviously radio, we got all of these streaming platforms, TV and music. How does media buying help enhance your just overall personal brand?
What I want to say, you took my word enhance, but that's not the word I want to use. But it does, it enhances your digital footprint. Why is that important? Because when I look up Bridgett Holden, I want to see her first. I don't want to go through a whole bunch of people. It helps with your SEO, search engine optimization. Yeah. So it depends on who you're talking to. Same thing. Digital footprint, search engine optimization. It helps with that because the more that your name, your business, whatever is out there in the metaverse, as they're saying now, the easier it is to look you up. And there you are. So yes, advertising on digital platforms is amazing. So when I have a client that, someone who has a podcast, I turn around and invest in that person's podcast because podcasts are evergreen. And if you say, oh, this podcast is brought to you by, blah, 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 whoever my client's name is, then it's there. So you just happen to look up said podcast or whatever, guess who's going to come up during the commercials? My client. So now I'm sharing it on, my website, my social media platforms, on all of their social media platforms and their website. Are you kidding me right now? I'm working with an outlet right now who's a digital outlet that they are just over the moon over this particular client. And when I tell you that I sent out their stuff, tagged them, they were like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for sharing and da-da-da-da-da. Then they came back with, hey, do you think your client would want to be featured in this? We have so far have been featured 3 times on this one outlet.
Wow.
Because I built a relationship. And that's another thing I want to say. I have to say this. You can write your press release, which is good. That's what you can do to start out with. Oh, and get on social media. You cannot have a business without being on social media. That's a must. That's another way of building your digital footprint. Why you hire me, the value that I have are the relationships, not the contacts, the relationship. That's my goal. That's my money, if you will, the relationships. Because although you can call a media outlet or, send a press release, and don't get me wrong, somebody will pick it up and you should feel proud of yourself if somebody does, because all you need is one. That's it. So not only are my relationships there, however, I do media training. Because a lot of people, I know you've seen interviews, Michelle, where you're just like, and you want to look away, but you can't because
you're boring. But you're boring.
You're boring, or you're talking all over the place, and nothing is worse than when an interviewer has to take over the interview. Whew, that's horrible, horrible, and I've seen it so many times. Or the person is on there and their outfit is louder than them in any capacity. So that's the thing that I bring to the table. Media training with how to sit, what to wear, where to put your hands. Because I know I talk with my hands, but that's something that I train. But if you see me on an interview, I'm not doing all of this. And I'll never have on something loud. Like if I got a call today, I would change this shirt unless I was doing a fashion piece. But if I go on there, because the hair is enough. Let's just say that. The hair is enough. So I'm always very particular about what I put on all the time. All the time. So, but that's why you would hire me, because of my relationships.
Very nice. Very nice.
Guaranteed, get you an interview. And no, it won't always be this one show that people always ask about. You know what show I'm talking about. When I tell them how much it costs to get on their show, oh, I didn't know it was a fee. Yeah, there's a fee.
Ooh, we need to talk offline. Okay.
We'll talk offline. I'll tell you that.
Someone literally told me to reach out to you, and I'm like, what? Okay, whatever. You're going to be speaking at the Marketing for the Culture Summit, the
I'm so excited.
marketing panel.
Yes.
So, I mean, I know you've given us some gems, but what is it about public speaking that you like the most?
Oh, wow. That, because I've been doing this stuff. No, seriously. I know. That's so funny. But no, the public speaking, I like that because it shows now I'm at this place in my life where I do want to speak more because I've been in the game for over 20 years. That's a long time. And
Wait, I'm sorry. Can you say that again? Because people be in the game 2 months and they be wanting to speak, and I'm like, you still got Similac. But go ahead, girl. Go ahead.
Similac. Oh, yeah. Not the Similac. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's over 20 years. And that's like, wow, I can't believe it. So I would like to think I kind of know what I'm talking about. Not saying I know everything, I'm still learning. However, I do know a lot. And now I'm at this place that I would like to share, my knowledge with people. And that's just where I am, like doing stuff like this, and being on Isaiah Factor and giving my perspective from a PR point. Because a lot of people don't know. They think they know, but they don't.
Yeah.
They don't. And I don't mind sharing the information in that platform. And it's good for my brand. Just saying.
I think listening to you, the most important thing that, like, I guess is silently resonating is strategy, right? And I know you mentioned people are going to hire you for your relationships, but it's also having a very comprehensive strategy of who you are physically as a person and how we're going to translate that to having a stellar digital footprint. Your website, social media, a few ads. And to me, that's the true value of what I've gotten today in this interview.
Well, good. But that's it. Because I always say, what's the strategic plan we can put together?
Yeah.
You're right. Because it is about strategy.
How can people find you?
You can find me by emailing me. My first name is Bridgett, Bridgett, no E on the end, at shebridgespr.com. Or you can find me on social media. Instagram is She Bridges Media Inc. because that's where everything falls. Twitter is She Bridges _PR. And then Facebook, She Bridges PR. And then you can follow me on my YouTube channel. This is me, Bridgett.
Hey.
All things fashion, beauty, and lifestyle, if you want.
I love it. We'll definitely have all of those links in the show notes so we can make it easy for you to find her. And Bridgett, once again, I just want to thank you for who you are. We've known each other for quite some time. I want to say maybe 10 years. Are knocking.
I thought longer. We've been knowing each other for a long time, Michelle.
I started business in 2013.
2013. But I knew you before you started, right?
Probably that year. This has been
at an HAPJ event, right? I think.
Ooh.
That's why I said I think it's been longer than that.
That's we'll talk offline. But
yeah. Who's old now?
Listen, I'll admit it.
Oh, be old.
No, but I've admired you. I've admired your work for a long time.
Well, thank you.
I'm grateful to do this interview, our second podcast interview. But more importantly, that you're going to be participating in the summit. To me, the summit's like a little way to kind of share my gratitude and I guess semi-repay people back. It's like, hey, I'm finally doing something. Let's collaborate. Are you willing to jump on board? So I'm really happy about that.
Well, let me say this, Michelle. I've had respect for you from day one. I've always admired your tenacity and your drive. And I like the way you move like I do in stealth mode. Because nobody will see you for a minute, then bam!
Thank you.
She's doing what?
Yeah.
That's what I like, and it's like, yeah, okay, you think I'm not doing nothing, you give it up on me? Cool, bet. That's what I want you to think. And you just, because I don't ever hear your name associated with any drama or mess. or anything else. And you're so eloquent when we had our meeting. I'm not going to say too much. We had our meeting and someone brought up to you somebody else and you were just like, okay, that's good. I hope they do well. However, they're not me, you know, and you didn't say it like that, but I'm just saying, you know, for lack of time. And, but I just thought your answer was, I was like, I mean, you know, because, and although I was teasing earlier about age, that has a factor, I do believe, into how we handle ourselves, because there's no competition. And I feel like that we are in a place that the confidence is there, you know, and caring about what you think. I really don't, period. You know, I tell people I was a part of the people please group for a minute. I was probably head of the committee. And that's because I suffer from the people please disease. But I've been cured, honey. So I don't care. You know what I mean? But anyway, going back to you, I just really felt like the way you answered that and you just handled it was with such grace. And I was just telling you, I was screaming on this. I was like, beautiful, perfect answer.
That's funny.
And she told you, why would I be worried?
Yeah.
Do I look worried?
I got plenty in my backyard that needs to be watered.
That part. And you can mow the lawns, you can keep the snakes out, period. Yeah. So, but anyway, same respect to you, lady.
All right, good people. As always, thank you for listening to the Marketing for the Culture podcast. Be sure to follow us on social media. Be sure to get your ticket to the summit Wednesday, May 31st to Friday, June 2nd. Tickets are on sale. You can go to aa-ma.org. Peace. Thank you for listening to Marketing for the Culture podcast. If you haven't already, please subscribe, whether it's on Apple, Google, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform. And of course, our videos are on YouTube. If you have a moment, feel free to give us a rate, review, or just comment. We appreciate our sponsors for their continuous support. Also, if you're interested in learning more about our sponsors or becoming a member of the African American Marketing Association, visit aa-ma.org.